buddy? How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Ready to go.
Good. All right. Hello, everyone. Everybody joining in. Make sure if you're not already aware, you can watch us live on Facebook right now or YouTube. Scrubbing Tires Media on YouTube. We've got a lot of success on that. I see Johnny Berardi is commenting from YouTube, so obviously it's working. So appreciate that. All right, back again for episode number 4. We titled this one "Ring Ring," and for good measure, you guys are going to find out why we labeled that the way we did here in a couple segments, and you're going to laugh your ass off after Blair and I just screened the voicemails that we're going to play for you guys. So, anyways, introductions before we go into our presenting partner, Brandon Hall, creator of Scrubbing Tires Media and co-host of the Throwin Sliders podcast with Mr. Blair Cooper here, and retired outlaw cart driver for the time being. So I'll pass it to you, Blair.
It's only temporary.
Only temporary.
Yeah,
it's not what my wife says, but
morning sickness yet?
Yeah.
I'm Blair Cooper, drive sprint car, been on asphalt, dirt, hanging out with Brandon now. He's got me doing the podcast with him on Mondays, so talk a little bit of racing and see where the night takes us. Absolutely.
Well, glad to be back again. Hopefully everybody tuned in last week to Bree Herman Bandemir. Awesome episode. We've got a lot of hits and rants and reviews on that one, so appreciate you guys tuning in, and the interaction there with Blair during the live broadcast was awesome. So anyway, back again. Don't have a whole lot of local stuff to kind of run through, nor really the national stuff with the crazy weather that we had in the Midwest. And I guess shout out and prayers to anybody in the Midwest that was affected by all those tornadoes and bad weather there. That was scary to see all those videos and pictures and stuff on social media. So if you were affected, thoughts, prayers out to your family, losing your house, your shop, whatever it may be. Terrible to even think about. So anyways, we'll kick it off as we always do with our presenting partner. I know it's starting to gain some traction, but for those of you new to the show or haven't heard, Racing Rowdy Ranch, presenting partner for both podcasts and Scrubbing Tires Media this year. A little hat gig that I started up, and all about racing, blue collar racing, short track racing. So if you like what you see, you've got a couple. You can see them. Those are the only 2 left right now. Have more in stock next week, and you'll like what we're dishing out. So stay on the lookout for those. But anyway, we'll play the bit, and then we'll get into the Dirt Natty recap. So here we go.
Racing Rowdy Ranch was created with one person, one adjective, and one place in mind: the blue-collar racer and the crew behind the scenes. A word that can describe these racers and crews and how they live. Finally, a place where the straightaways and turns are these racers' pastures and hills, all bordered by concrete walls that could share more than their fair share of memories, even after several coats of paint. We are racing. We live rowdy, and we long to be at the ranch, riding for the brand. An apparel company designed to showcase just that. Push the limits every day and be proud of who we are. Visit www.racingrowdyranch.com now to order yours today. Saddle up, strap in, and live rowdy. Proud presenting partner of Scrubbing Tires Media, Throwin Sliders, and Hitting the Chip podcasts.
Man, you sound good on that ad, but
shit, that thing gets me fired up, dude.
I know, man.
Was that Jacob or Jordan pumping their fist?
That'd been Jordan, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Winning his heat, or they call him dash, I guess, on the asphalt side. But yeah, the dash race, yeah. That was cool. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, I think I was there that night anyway, up in the spotters booth. Yeah.
Pumping.
Yeah, man. We need to get you.
It's actually in the car.
Give him the bird, yeah. Have Bryce Holcomb do some edits. Be good stuff. Okay. Speaking of Bryce, if you're watching, hit up Blair and I after the show. We have something we want to talk to you about if you're watching, sir. All right, so into our Dirt Natty recap is what we titled this category. Talk about 2 of, I guess, Blair and I's kind of favorite national series, which are the high limit racing in the World of Outlaws. Obviously, no offense to any of the midget guys or any other race class. We just don't have enough time in the show to go over, and they race 15 times a day. So it's hard to, but anyways, Keep it short and sweet tonight. We only have one technical recap to go through, and that was actually from last Tuesday, the 23rd, the midweek money series race number 2 for the high limit guys at Riverside International Speedway in Arkansas. $20K to win, $1.5 grand to start, which is just blows my mind. I mean, local tracks would die to have that once a year, let alone twice, 3 times a week. So cool what they're doing. We've said it a bunch of times, but anyways, hell of a show. I was talking with Blair actually during this race, and I learned something. It's so close to the Mississippi River that they said when the river is high, it actually creates so much pressure underground. I think they said I can't remember what end of the track is like a mile away from the river, right? It's that close.
Yeah,
and it actually, 1 and 2, yeah. So it pushes all that water and it just seeps up from the ground up to the track, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And you just, I mean, they had to pause the race and add more hot laps in there to kind of work it in. Just the craziest thing I've really even seen. Like, we've all seen 2 watered down tracks or whatever, but that's because someone fucked up or whatever. So anyway, Mother Nature kind of having its toll on the dirt track down there. But anyway, a lot of local guys. The Crawley family was down there. They did really well until they didn't in the feature. As I'll say, I think it was Tim Crawley, the older, got up in the fence going into that had been 2, and he just said he stepped on it, and meaning his male genitals, if you're not familiar with that saying. So anyway, you had the big shows there. Kyle Larson, all the gang was there. So quick time, Brad Sweet, 11.2266 seconds. Really hauling the mail around there. TJ Forge, Heat 1 winner. Tim Crawley, DMI Heat 2 winner. Young Money, Kyle Larson. BR Motorsports Heat 3 winner, Spencer Baston. And they had enough for 4 heat races. Winner's Performance Heat 4 winner was Tanner Thorson, which is really cool to see him. He's kind of struggled in the high limit series, not in the sprint car. The guy's a shoe no matter what he's in, but he found his mojo, if you will, last week. And your dash winner was Corey Day after the Dice Durst roll. Again, super cool to see that. And that freaking guy, man, is so young and is like the next thing. Like I feel like right now in any of motorsports, the talk is Kyle Larson, right? Especially on the dirt side. But like this Corey Day guy is coming in hot. Like it's crazy. Anyway, and then go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was telling you, like, it's kind of, you've been hearing his name a lot more, but that was kind of like Justin Peck. When I watched him, I told you that's become one of my favorite upcoming kids. They're kind of very similar, and just go balls to the wall. But like when he beat Kyle Larson at Kokomo in that 2-car qualifying, I thought that was pretty cool. So there's a couple good kids coming up. Yeah,
he is lights out. And just anyway, I'll talk about it in when we get to the feature here. But the B main winner, Brady Bacon, cool to see him back running with those guys. World of Outlaw guy mainly, but showing his stuff a little bit at the high limit. Fastest lap award in the feature was Corey Day. Should come at no surprise. The track, you could tell his fastest lap was a 12.0, and compared to Brad Sweet's 11.2 in qualifying. So you can kind of tell how greasy and shit the track got towards the end of the night. But anyway, speaking of Justin Peck, he was your hard charger award of the night, up 11 spots from 28th to 17th. And if you watch the race, it doesn't seem like a lot, 11 positions, but man, that track looked treacherous. Obviously, I've never been there, never driven anything on it, probably never will, but it looked just one little mistake and you're gonzo, especially in all the guys. Really, everybody except for Tanner Thorson was up on the boards. That was the only way you could get around that place. And if you went down low, it would just kind of get shut down and they would just drive, almost straight you in the straightaway. But anyway, lap leaders, Tyler Courtney, he's been off to a hot start this year. He led laps 1 through 8, and then Corey Day just took it from there and led every single lap. So the A feature reverse order on the podium, 7BC, Tyler Courtney took 3rd, Tanner Thorson took 2nd, and of course, who we've talked about already a lot, Corey Day took home his 2nd. I think that was the 2nd midweek or midweek money series, if I could pronounce it right. and he's just on a roll. But anyway, back to my point about Tanner Thorson before we move on. He got up there, and he didn't make it easy for Corey Day. Corey Day, they got into some lap traffic. Like, that track is pretty tiny, so within 10 laps, they were lapping people, and Tanner was just didn't want to come off the low to middle. He was kind of floating in it, not diamonding it, so to speak, but he really was making it work, and made Corey work for it, and would poke his right rear, or his right front rather, up. So Corey knew he was there, and he was just kind of hoping Corey would make a mistake, but he didn't, and took the checker. So awesome race. Haven't seen a bad one yet. And good stuff. So anyway, their next race is actually Wednesday, the Kansas Clash Midweek Money Series, race number 3 at 81 Speedway. Kind of a cool thing again, like they did in Fort Worth. They're racing the same weekend as the Cup guys. So the hope is that you Cup fans, or I guess Xfinity fans, if you like the dirt racing, go check out the Xfinity race and then go to the high limit stuff. Really cool. And then they got races on the 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th. I'm not going to rattle out the names, but this next one on Wednesday is the 3rd midweek money series race. So again, 20K to win, 1,500 to start, and so on and so on. So really cool stuff happening in high limit. Into the world of outlaws, sprint cars, and the Case construction late models. The sprint cars were supposed to be at Knoxville Friday and Saturday. As we mentioned at the top of the show, weather kind of derailed that plan for, I would probably say, a lot of the Midwest racetracks this weekend. So don't know if they rescheduled that one. I didn't see it. I know the Case late models the week prior at the Talladega short track, they were going to make that one up in September, I believe. But yeah, their next one is Wednesday as well. They're going to be at Jacksonville Speedway in Illinois. 12K to win for the World of Outlaws Hy-Vee Perks 40. And then they race Friday at Eldora for the Let's Race 2, 12K to win there. And then your Case Construction late models, same thing, rained out. And their next one is Thursday, the World of Outlaws Dairyland Showdown at Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Wisconsin. I thought this was a typo when I first read it. So they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, triple night header, 7K to win the first night, 7K to win the second night. And I was like, man, that seems really low. And then lo and behold, Saturday the 4th, 35K to win. So if you're a late model fan and you have a good car, you could come out of Wisconsin with some serious deep pockets. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the Dirt Natty recap. Not a lot to talk about. So I will pass to Mr. Blair. Unfortunately, the same kind of thing with the Colorado stuff. But what do you got?
Yeah, I didn't really know of anywhere that ran this weekend locally, regionally either. I know some guys down south, but I mean, you're getting quite a ways away from here. So we were going to talk about upcoming events locally here. The ASCS, now that BST has also made a division, so it's the 2 series that you can hit in Colorado would be the ASCS Northern Plains and ASCS Western Plains. And now this year, I know like last year, it was a mixed bag. They're all under the banner from World Racing Group now for rules and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're getting more uniform. They are letting 305s run on the short tracks with the 360s. But other than that, it's got to be pretty much up to spec. And it looks like that will actually be back on. This will be my first time back in the car since Nebraska got rained or snowed out. Yeah. But Saturday, May 11th at El Paso County in Calhan, they're going to do it again. We're going back with sprint cars. They added us to the schedule. And then you've got lightning sprints, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, compacts, warriors, dwarfs, 600s. Shit, we might as well just add school buses, tractors, trailers,
bicycles.
So yeah, we'll get foot races going on.
Yeah.
So, but no, looking forward to that. Hopefully the weather holds up and we've got some surface to race on and the track holds up. It is pretty fun with the reshape, but I just hope it doesn't get that slick again. But I do need some redemption there. So no matter what it is, we're gonna go for it again. So
yeah.
Rained out. Or
yeah.
And Lincoln County, did the racetrack get hit? Did you hear? I didn't think so. I didn't see him post anything.
Yeah, I didn't see any posts. I can't even remember the town that got hit. I'm not geographically up to speed, I guess you could say, on Nebraska. I know the big towns driving through there, but there's so many damn little towns there that have a lot of racetracks. So viewers, if you know anything about Nebraska and the tracks, if they got hit, let us know. But I did want to touch on Mr. Sammy Swindell, man. He made it out to the high limits race last Tuesday, and I was texting Blair. Even hot laps, it would fire off and then lock up and all this stuff. And then I think he came back out for. He didn't make the heat race, but he came out for the B main. Obviously, starting from the rear, had to get to forward to transfer, so it was a long shot anyway. But something was wrong with the car, and I just hated to see that because we had him on the podcast, and he did well at El Paso, and then and it wasn't no fault to his own. It seemed like the car was something, they got a bug in it. But
he came back to the field pretty hot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's unfortunately the weather doesn't give us much to talk about tonight. But we got some cool segments that we're going to dissect here. So, Clyde Cooper, how much to start? He wants to know.
For the high limit or for El Paso County?
El Paso, I believe, if I could find the damn comment. There we go.
It's supposed to be a couple hundred to start, I think, and he's going to pay, I've heard, $1,000 to win. So for a local show at Calhoun, should be all right. I think they're going to pay through the field pretty good. So I think Joe has been trying to get some of that going. I know he's been pretty transparent about it. So hopefully that stays the same and we get a good car count. Otherwise, that's always a way that, if there isn't people in the stands and cars on the track, I do understand promoters there. I know I give them a lot of shit, but sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Gotcha.
Oh, my wife said Tornado was outside of Lincoln.
Okay.
3 or so hours. Well, as long as that track's, I got a race there. Good things. So
yeah, that would derail your schedule a little bit.
Clyde.
Just go pick a spot in a cornfield out there and dig a track real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, love who is that to you? Is that kin to you?
No, just friends. Yeah,
okay.
No friends. Yeah. He's got a hobby stock. So
okay.
But no relation. He wishes. There's so many Coopers. Even when
Blair's
there was 3 of us on the track.
Yeah. Blair's famous now. Any Cooper, he's like, nah, that ain't me.
I claim him.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys have been watching the Scrub and Tires Media page for the last week, we've been really, really, really advertising the piss out of this segment called Revved-Up Reactions. So it's your opportunity. It's similar to Give Me Some Lovin', if you guys know what that's all about. But those are more, text or type, and we show it on screen. And we try to save that even on the hitting the chip side. We try to save that for guests. So your comments, questions can go directly to the guests. Every now and again, we'll throw it up like we did 2 weeks ago, just for the hosts. Obviously, me, you probably know everything about me there is to know by this point, 4 years into it. But obviously, Blair, some of the new viewers are still getting to know him and whatnot. So we'll continue to do the Give Me Some Lovin' outside of guests. But this specific segment, there's a phone number. It's not associated with any U.S. cellular company in the world. It's just a Google phone number. You call it, it goes straight to voicemail. It doesn't even ring. You leave a voicemail, and then if they're PG-13/R enough, we'll play them on air. We got 3 of them tonight, so we're super stoked about that, and it gives us a good laugh in the pre-show, if you will, just screening these and listening to them. So good stuff. So yeah, going forward, I'll pull up the number. Terrible hosting skills here. The number is 720-773-1273. So I tried to pick a number that was easy to remember, 773-1273. Obviously, area code Denver 720. Super easy to remember. Okay, so that number is always open. Call day or night, doesn't matter. It's just going straight to a voicemail, and then we get to hear them and download them and everything like this. So, yeah, please, we want to hear from you. You can have comments, you can have questions, you can talk shit to Blair, you can talk shit to me, you can give us constructive feedback on what we're doing or not doing. The phone lines are open, and that's all we're going to say here. So with this, we're going to debut it right now, and then so without further ado, and again, this is all anonymous unless your number is specifically programmed into my phone. I have no idea who it is. I just see a number, right? And then I click play, and I have, with all the disguises and video edit or sound recording stuff that goes on nowadays. I couldn't tell you who's who and what's doing what. So anyway, we'll play the first one. And then if there's questions, which I believe on this first one, there is a couple questions. So Blair and I will just kind of answer them, and hope you guys get a good laugh. This is supposed to be a fan interactive segment. So here we go.
Hey, this is Bobby, Throwin Sliders Fan Club, president of the Colorado chapter, and first-time caller. Come on. I've got a couple questions for you, ugly sons of guns.
Thank you.
First, who do you guys think will win the High Limit Racing Regular Series Championship? Yes, sir. Second question is, for both of you, how often do you go through right rear tires? I suppose not like I go through them bush lights. Come on. Hey, and how I get one of those Racing Rowdy ranch hats you have there? Yeah, come on with it. Holler back.
All right. Well, thank you, Bobby from Colorado. Sounded like good stuff. What was his first question? Oh, the high limits points champion. Blair, I'll pass to you and then I'll answer it. Who do you think? Well, I'll segment this because there's the regular season and the mid week money series. They're doing two champions.
I didn't know exactly how the structure was, but I probably still wouldn't bet against Brad Sweet. Maybe long run. I mean, they know what it's like to go through a full. I mean, most of these guys do too, honestly. But I think at that high a level, if I was putting money down, I probably wouldn't count him out, especially being early. You know, it's a long way to go, and they've been there a time or two.
56 more races, I think. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a brutal.
A lot can happen. Yeah, it's a good pick, Blair. I don't know. I think Kyle Larson he's obviously fast. He's had some issues with the car. Not sure what that's about. Paul Silver wrenching on that thing. But it seems like he's just sometimes trying a little bit too hard in the last couple of weeks, but you never can count him out, right? So I think he's definitely up there. But Tyler Courtney, man, Sunshine he's leading laps at every single track, which is incredible in and of itself. So I'm going to go with Tyler Courtney on that, and we'll see maybe we'll circle back at the end of the year and see where we
that'd be cool.
Mark this down. All right. What was the second question? Right rears. Blair, you definitely go through a lot more right rears than I can ever fathom. So,
and I'm hard on them. I've been trying not to be so hard on them. Let me think. It really is probably at least one. With the most we might get out of a tire is 2 nights. It seems like for the tracks we race. If we went somewhere hammer down, early and then not super slick, you might be able to get 3 most of the time. Like in the middle of summer, I get 1 night out of a set of rears. So we were like last year at Aztec, we went through 2 brand new sets, but full sets, fronts and rears. But I would say on average, maybe 1.5. What's that?
I was going to say fronts. That's
it was so rubbered up. It took rubber. I mean, and it was rubbered all the way around. You could see guys lighting up the back tires, and it was purple smoke to the flag stand. So that was on.
That's cool to see.
Just really, it's just when it's in front of you. I had guys' tires coming apart, and I don't know if you remember last year, they were having problems with Hoosiers.
Yeah.
So I followed a guy with a triangle.
As I'm wearing.
They don't need your help.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I followed a guy with a tire that literally had a triangle, probably about 8 inches long, just flapping when we were. So finally, it went under yellow. I could see it happening, and luckily there was a yellow before he popped it right in front of me. It's like, well, you can not keep racing the guy.
God, man.
But I was a little puckered following him down into the corner like that. But so probably, I mean, at least 1 good night's 2, and if you were absolutely lucky, and at least to practice on and stuff, I'll keep them for, they can get another 10 laps on them practicing hot lapping or. I might even keep one up for a heat race.
For non or new sprint car fans here that we got on the show, give us the width of those bad boys and how much they cost.
So like a right rear, the rim I have on, you can run 17 or 18-inch wheels. So the tire across the face is like 20. It's like I've measured one. I know it's over 23. Crazy. But they're massive. And then the left side wheel's a 15-inch, and they measure, about 4 or 5 inches bigger than that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Contact
350 a pop?
Yeah,
The right rear.
350, 365. Yeah, I've been running into a lot 365 this year, I think. And that's getting some guys pay. I've heard back east closer to 400, but I think they've come down a little. So
well, I don't know how you afford it as it is, buddy.
It's tough. That's the worst part, I think, for any of the races, I'll tell you, especially in sprint cars and any 100%. Sanction, though, it's always tires that kill guys.
Yeah, no doubt. That question for me is not really relevant. I thought we were going to go through just racing at Pueblo, which Blair can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a little gritty compared to, other places. I feel like last summer for me anyway, maybe it was just a little track, but it was, I don't even know how to describe it. Some like the heat race would be like super slippery. Like we're not even doing anything. We're just sliding. And then by the time the A feature came around, or I guess the feature, the bigger cars had created, and our straightaway shared their straightaway. So the bigger cars, unless the micros or the 600s were there wasn't really that big of a difference. It was kind of just hard packed clay, I guess, if you will. So all that to say, I didn't go through any tires last year, which was had some on standby, ready to go, but I could probably get another season depending on the track that I went to out of that. And obviously smaller horsepower, not lighting them up. We're not doing any of that stuff like Blair and those guys are. So that is one thing that I enjoy about the Outlaw Kart Show, right? I mean, we're not, spending $500 a weekend to, go decently fast. I mean, Blair saw it. We're not going slow by any means, and you can hurt yourself. But anyway, so all right, what was his last question, Mr. Bobby? Oh, Racing Rowdy Ranch hat. You can hit me up or go to www.racingrowdyranch.com. Again, if I move my head, 2 left in stock. There they are. One of them is this patch on a Richardson, and then the other one is the Trailblazer patch, which we just got 6 more in today. And like I said, we have a order of shipments of hats coming next week, 31 new hats. So those will be dropping next week or the week after. So definitely go check that out. But really good question there, Bobby, questions, Bobby. Appreciate you calling in. Next one. We ready, Blair?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, first time caller here. I just had a question on post-race tech. So for instance, if a driver finishes in the top 3 or whatever ending position, has them go to tech afterwards. If they fail, what happens to that driver then? Let me know. Thanks.
All right. Great question again. You want to go first or you want me to go first, Blair?
I'll give him the first one. You get DQ'd. I'll give him the first one. You give him the second one. There's 2 things that happen. Well, maybe 3. But
yeah, I mean, DQ is it's kind of track dependent and class dependent, I think. But DQ is probably the most common one that you'll see. Other stuff I've seen, I'm not going to name any local tracks, but I've seen people drop 5 spots, which is bizarre to me. But you're basically, it comes down to first place prize money or second place or third place, whatever position you were deemed to go to tech for, which is all for that caller that is asking that question. It's all predetermined, before the event starts. Hey, in 360 sprint cars, top 3 are going to the tech. Hey, in dwarf cars, top 5 are going. So it's all, like if you finish in that position, you're going straight to tech. You don't stop at your pits. You don't stop and kiss babies and sign autographs. You go straight to tech, or that can, I've seen, cause disqualifications, stuff like that. So back to my point, it's either purse money that you're losing or points or both. And those are, to local drivers, that's a big deal.
Well, and then it could be a suspension. That was kind of the last part, depending on, like we saw with the late models on the dirt side. The dope tires are supposedly, I know they've been fighting, but there's supposed to be a suspension, and some, I think for us, it's a year for tires.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and $5,000, I believe, so they don't jack around with that. I could be off a little bit on the numbers, but usually first offense is like a certain number of races. Second one's either a year, and then after that, they can kick you out for good. Yeah,
that's some serious. I mean, the higher you go up in classes, I mean, points still are, of primo, right? They're everything. That's why people race and for championships and stuff. But $5,000 to a local guy. That's some serious, and a year, man. Like, unless you have the funds to go travel, that's that. Yeah. So anyway, to that caller, serious implications. So you want to make sure, you got yourself right. Minimum weights, obviously a big one. Track widths, another, big one. I don't know, Blair, what do they look for specifically on sprint cars?
I mean, sprint cars are pretty simple. They check wings a lot. They'll check fuel, tires. I've never had a sample pulled, but they'll pull samples, right? That's always a big one. Tread width. They can go into a lot of things. Weight. It seems like we roll across scales quite a bit when they need these bigger races. So whether it be qualifying or.
It's a good point. I know, kind of not right when, but when that tire doping thing was like, when I first kind of noticed it was back in January at the Chili Bowl. Any damn person, man, and the race seavers too. That was odd, but for tire's sake, literally when they pulled up the ramp, they're taking a chunk out of the tire. Like, I was like, holy crap, man, they're not joking around with this stuff. So,
is it illegal there at the Chili Bowl?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't do anything because they just made a harder compound, so I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, it was a brand new tire for the Chili Bowl this year, and it was harder, right? And exactly that point, they didn't want anybody doping. Yeah. Which, anyway, we can talk about that on another show.
I've never been DQ'd. That's one thing. And I know Kyle's going to say we have to make it to tech, but I was even the mystery car like 10 times. So,
yeah.
But I get pulled out a lot, and I've never been DQ'd. I was pretty proud of that. But I guess we need to start trying harder.
Yeah. I'm not going to name the name legend car driver, but helped me scale one time. And I learned a lot about how you can sit in the seat when you're on the scale, and I'll tell you the name after the show. You know exactly who it is, but you can do some things while you're in the car.
There's all right. This picture of Dale Earnhardt picking up his
lifting, with the chute.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't get away with that now because it's all laser stuff, but ask Kyle Larson how that worked out with the roof rails last weekend.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more for this week that we'll play. But yeah, please dial that number. Again, this is fun. It's fun for us to kind of answer questions or take some flock from you guys. Again, number is 720-773-1273. Can't forget it. Put it in your phone. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your wife, call us. We're always open, and it's never closed. You can call in anytime. All right, last one for the evening. And then we're going to get into Slang Explained with Blair. So, last caller of the night.
Yeah, I'm just so glad I got this freaking call thing figured out because I tried calling it to figure out how to leave a message. I guess that just means I'm a retard. Anyways, my question here is, how did Blair become so popular? Because I remember there was a time where Blair was just nothing. And then all of a sudden, he must have been scraping his knees or something, because now he's like the business. I guess I'm just a little baffled the fact that he thinks he's a dirt track racer. So, if anybody has any answers to how Blair got to where he's at, I'd be obliged to hear. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Looks like you got your fangirls following you now. So that's a start.
I know who that is. I don't even know if we should. That's Asphalt Guys.
Asphalt Guys coming over and talking shit on Blair. We love it.
I like it.
Well, how did you become so popular, Blair?
I see Brian in the comments. I was going to write back to him, but I had that right where it was all the way in. I just didn't get the left rear out, so I had no trim at all. Something different we tried with shocks and everything. We talked about that last week, but I had it all the way to the radius rod, so we're going to leave that in there and do some work on the left side now.
There we go. So how did you get so famous? That caller wants to know. I think we all, by this point, know who it was, but
yeah, gosh, I don't even know what to say to that. I've been popular with the boys, so.
Oh man,
yeah, I've got my fan base is a little weird.
You almost made me spit out my chew. All right, sounds like Kyle. Well,
no,
never know. Close. I guess close. All right, well, appreciate you guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys and gals for calling into that this week, airing it live. We'll do that every week. Unless we have guests, obviously, which stay tuned. Blair's got some important information at the end of this one to share with you on the guest. But that was called Revved Up Reactions. Hope you like it. Comment, tell us if you hated it, but I think it's going to be fun as we progress in the year with that, especially as Blair gets to racing and stuff goes on at the track. So don't be afraid, don't be shy. Call that number and let us hear from you. So anyway, I'll pass it to you, Mr. Blair, for Slang Explained. Also one of my favorite new episodes or categories.
Yeah, me too. This one's kind of simple because I didn't feel all that good. We talked about that, but we wanted to go over 2 terms that you probably need to know if you're hanging around the dirt track. You're going to hear it a lot, and I know Instagram girls say that a lot, but I do have a lot of people ask me what it means and how much, and then racers that don't run sprint cars are always saying, holy shit, that much. But the first one is stagger. So stagger is basically the difference in size in your tires, and it varies from left side to right side. So going off, like I said, with my sprint car, starting sizes, the left rear tire is smaller in circumference than the right rear tire. So that would be your split between the two. So say if the track's heavy, you want more stagger, it helps the car turn. It gets the car around the corner, and you can have anywhere in our cars to start out anywhere from 13 to 15 inches is pretty standard, right around that 14 number. And then as the track slicks off, you obviously don't need to turn. The car is going to want to get loose. So you take stagger out, and it helps the car straighten up and get through the corner. And you might run down anywhere, maybe 11. I know some guys can really get down there. I have found out I don't like it that low, but it works the same on dirt and asphalt. Anything that helps the car go around the corner, and it's just different size tires. So that's stagger. And then another super common one you'll hear, and probably most people know this. I know casual fans ask a lot, though, and they don't know the difference between wedge, cross, putting turns in the car. You'll hear that wedge a lot in NASCAR. You used to, at least.
Yeah.
It applies to all race cars too. So basically it's cranking down the left rear spring and everything, and the right front. So if your car, say, is free, you put turns in those springs, and you probably have to look at on scales most of the time to know exactly what the adjustment is. We shoot for certain percentages on the car, percentage across, and that will help usually tighten the car up. And it can do it getting in the corner. You can even jack with cross with just the rear end, but whatever you put in one, you got to take out of the other.
In diagonal.
Rule of thumb. Yep. So left rear, right front, or right rear, left front. But there's a lot of ways to tweak and play with that. But wedge is basically just adding weight to that side of the car, or that diagonal of the car.
Yeah. And back to the stagger, and like you said, I'm sure a lot of the folks listening right now or watching on the various platforms, the greatest, I guess, analogy that I've ever seen with stagger was actually Chris Eggleston. He does a yearly legend setup class, or he did back when I ran at his shop up there. You take a styrofoam cup, just a coffee cup, and you set it on its side, and you just don't spin it like you'd spin the bottle back in high school kissing your boyfriends, but just like move the cup, and the outer, you can just watch it, and it's the same thing. The bigger, is what's creating that turn, and the smaller is just it has that smaller circle in the middle because it's so smaller. But it helps the bigger, it helps the cup in this instance. So just throwing that out there, I thought it was a good analogy.
Yeah, it's so much different on asphalt too. We used to run so minimal stagger. I know a lot of guys, 1.5 up to maybe up to 3 inches on some of the class. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm sure sprint cars probably have still quite a bit more. But those asphalt cars are, the grip they can make and being able to turn the car in and makes it to where they're locked down. But usually,
I would say it's 2 to 3, and I know Jordan, Kyle's, everybody's watching, but I would say depending on the class, I would say probably 2 to 3 is right in there. For right, the right side, probably depending on what you're trying to do, maybe the main event or the feature or something like that. But to really get that damn thing to turn, for sure. Let's see. I thought I had a question for you for Slang Explained. I do. So, pardon my ignorance on a sprint car. Been watching a lot of them the last 2-3 years. What is the part called that's coming out basically where the driver's left hand is? It's a bar that runs parallel with the car that goes up to it looks like it's tied to the tie rod. I looked at it in Fort Worth, but it's coming out of the cockpit on this little I don't even know what you would call it, but it moves.
Oh, the steering
right?
box. So it's your steering box to your pitman arm.
Got it. Okay. Because when you're seeing them going around the track, it's almost like they're moving something in the car to make that move, but it's just the wheel input, right?
Yeah. So being a fixed front axle, a solid front axle, it's basically like sprint cars are basically old farm equipment technology that they've just upgraded with lighter, faster parts. But yeah, that steering arm comes out of your steering box, and like most of them now are just one side. Mine comes out the left side and then goes all the way to the upper control arm, and then whatever you do, you're locked in with your drag link across the front. And so they're really simple, but yeah.
So does that help you turn it, since you don't have like a steering box per se, like an asphalt car, to like a 16-to-1 or 12-to-1 to help you, because dirt's so much, no power steering.
I mean, the steering box in my car is pretty quick. Most of the sprint cars are the same on dirt as far as the gear ratio in the steering box. But like in my car, it's full tilt when you cross up. So if you're not even but a quarter turn, the wheel is fully cranked. So it's a super fast box. But I think
because they don't have power steering, right?
It is power. Yeah. So it has a power steering pump that's run off the cam, and it's right behind the fuel pump. Okay. So yeah, that runs and that's also what runs the wing. So the hydraulic from that power steering pump and then your steering gear is also what pressurizes your wing cylinder.
Well,
and then you've got your knob to go up and back. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So, okay. Well, yeah, that was something I've been wanting to ask you. I got plenty more, but we'll save it for future iterations of the show. But yeah, appreciate that, because I'm like, I don't know. I think it has something to do with steering, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just on it, because you've seen inside there. It's like you're working a pan pizza in the car.
Yeah. No doubt. So
I think the reason they don't have a traditional box is just the room, and then trying to get that linkage and stuff around there. And it works. They have to be steel now, so they did make a new rule because guys have aluminum arms and aluminum. Yeah, real easy to bend. So on that steering and then brake, and so
then you're in trouble, and you're gonna go wing first in the fence sometimes. Interesting. Good stuff. A lot of kidney stones there, comments there.
Yeah.
Give the guy a break, man. He's been having a rough go the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Keaton. I didn't even read the name. Hey, Keaton.
Yeah.
He had to do a motor swap, get that thing fired back up in the dwarf car.
Yeah, he's working on it. I know I think he ended up having to buy a new one. They thought they were going to try to freshen that, and then the cylinders were all jacked up and stuff. So.
Yeah, I like the pick with the forklift. That's a genius idea.
Pretty smart, yeah.
The hell with the cherry picker, man. I'll just use the forklift.
I use a crane, a gantry crane.
Do you? Good for you.
Yeah, pull it straight up and down, makes it easy.
Fortunately for me, I can do it myself with a little 500. The Legend, I did have to move, not my motor, but I did have to move a motor around, and I don't suggest moving that by hand by yourself, because that's it's heavier than it looks. For sure.
We held one up and put it in one night at the racetrack.
It's too much. Yeah.
Not light.
Hopefully his sponsor helps him out. Yeah, maybe they did.
Flonex is going to be a sponsor. I'm getting old. Everybody knows I got kidney stones. I've been fighting that. So we made it tonight, though.
But you got it out.
Yeah, they're all out, I think. So that was the big ones, at least. So that's the only thing. That's why I say I'm bulletproof. But man, I get those, and they're figuring it out. But just more water.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, well, that takes us to the end of the show. Obviously, cut short a little bit due to the lack thereof racing on the national side and local side due to weather. But yeah, we have big news. Mr. Blair's going to give you some cool stuff, some cool insight right now.
Yeah, we were going to announce next week's guest. We're going to try to keep that up. And we've got Brady Balderston, a guy I know and have raced with, and he's raced asphalt, dirt. He was in a lightning sprint when I was there for a while, and then he moved on to late models, and he's running with those guys. So we're going to catch up with him a little bit, see what he's doing, and a little bit more about his history. I mean, I've met him and we've talked quite a bit, but never really about exactly how he got started and stuff. So it'd be kind of interesting. He's a really nice guy. So
perfect. Is that a crate super? What are we?
As far as motor, I think that's a pretty competitive piece. So I know I just saw a picture. It looks like they got a new Longhorn chassis.
Oh shit!
But I figured I'd wait to ask him and see what he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just seeing if you knew.
Yeah, I don't know that much about dirt late models. Honestly, I've been around a few, but I know they've had a lot of stuff changed, and they're having engine wars, and it's even more expensive than the sprint cars. So
yeah, those things are a hoot to watch in person. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, Longhorn chassis. That's good for him. Is all I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's what it looked like, but we'll find out. We'll verify that. But it looked like a nice car sitting in the garage. He's always had pretty good looking stuff. So
yeah, no doubt. Excited to have Brady on. Catch us next Monday, 7:30 Mountain again, and we'll have Brady on the show and do the Give Me Some Lovin' segment. So have those questions, comments for Brady. If you don't know who he is, go to his page. Do some research on him and bring those questions, because I know, speaking on behalf of our guests that we've had, not just this year, but the last 4 years, they enjoy the comments. They it's not every day that, some of the well-known kind of famous, if you will, drivers and whatever they are, they come on, they've probably heard these questions, but the local guys, they want to hear from you and makes them more engaged with us and the fans, and gets them talking. So get those comments stewing in your brains, and we'll give you an opportunity to get those on the screen next week. But man, appreciate the episode. Again, sorry we didn't have a lot of local stuff to talk about, but hopefully you guys continue to like the segments that we're rolling out. I think we're going to stick with what we got for right now, and maybe unveil one or two maybe by the end of the year, but we'll stick to Slang Explained and the newest one, Revved-Up Reactions. So hit that phone line, and again, if during the Slang Explained segment with Blair, if you guys have questions, comments for sprint cars, dirt racing, hell, you can even ask me an outlaw kart question, whatever it is, please put them on the board here in the comments, and Blair will be sure and answer those, much like I did tonight. So I appreciate you guys' support. It's really already taken off this year on both podcasts and on the media page. We're seeing a lot of video views after we're done here on Facebook and YouTube. Spotify numbers are down a little bit, but I think you guys enjoy more of the visual side of things. So, and that's why we bring it to you. So appreciate the support, feedback. We've been getting a lot of feedback, good and bad, which is to us always good, because we want to make the best show possible and put out good content. So appreciate it. And, continue to like, share, engage with us on the show or after the show. As Blair found out I think it was like 11 p.m. last week. I was like, Blair Cooper's still commenting on this damn thing. But
I wouldn't let me do it I was trying.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'll pass it to you, but appreciate it to everybody. And one last quick plug, www.Rowdy Ranch.
Yeah, Clyde said High Plains, and they run open motor. So yeah, I figured that was the case. But
okay. I don't know why every time I click on someone's, there we go, it like glitches when I do it. Anyway, shout out Clyde again.
Yeah.
And, I'll pass to you, Blair.
All right. Well, hopefully, and again, Saturday we'll be out at Calhoun. Come see us. We've got the T-shirts and everything for sale. Everybody stops by the trailer and probably tells me I'm either going to wreck or lose or something. So that's always fun. I appreciate that. We'll get the strobe light on and have a party either way. But appreciate everybody being here, and we'll look forward to next week with Brady.
Absolutely. Well, everybody have a great rest of your week. Make sure you tune in to Hitting the Chip tomorrow, 7:30. I believe I'm just checking my text here real quick. All right. Jordan Smith has some cool news to tell you tomorrow. So be sure and check in the Hitting the Chip podcast when they announce that. We've kind of preluded to it. I think it was last week, but I'll let Jordan head that up. He did all the work on the back end. So be sure and tune in and see what that's about. I know you guys are going to love that. It's been a long time coming, I'll say. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Check them out tomorrow. Give us likes, give us love. And until next week, keep scrubbing those tires, everybody. Later.
Scrubbing them.
This has been another episode under Scrubbin' Tires Media. Creator and producer of Scrubbin' Tires Media is Brandon Hall. The Hitting the Chip podcast is hosted by Jacob and Jordan Smith. The Throwin Sliders podcast is hosted by Blair Cooper and Brandon Hall. Video and audio creator is Bryce Holcomb. Intro and outro music is owned and produced by Young Troubadour on YouTube. All episodes were created using StreamYard. Thanks for watching, listening, and supporting Scrubbin' Tires Media. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep scrubbing those tires.